And the crown decal at the back as well.
That's it, that's all me.
Awesome, awesome.
But yeah, this one's even rarer than the coupe. It's the only one registered in Australia. I know of a few others.
Really?
Yeah, it's the only one registered in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah. These were never sold here, and there was only a few imported.
Well, welcome to a new Dave's Classic Garage Tours video. Today I'm heading north out of Melbourne towards Glenlyon, country Victoria. Just heading past Calder Park Raceway there, famous first NASCAR track outside of America. Today is going to be a little bit different. Going to see a private garage rather than a commercial garage. A friend of mine, Jason, is been working on a project for the past year or so to go on a rally, the Shitbox Rally. It's going to be heading from Port Douglas in Queensland all the way down to Adelaide this year. Christ knows how many kilometres that's going to be, yeah, certainly big. But he's also got to get this project car up to Douglas for the start line. We'll find out how he's going to be doing that soon. I'll speak to you then. We'll get to see the project car in the next episode, so make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell for that. But in the meantime, we get to see Jason's real automotive passion, the early 70s Toyota Crown. Okay, so yeah, Jason won't be doing a cross-country trip in the Crowns, although they're pretty. They'd be able to do it. Not on tarmac.
Well, I drove the coupe to the Blue Mountains in autumn last year, and unfortunately dropped a cylinder on the way home, so
Right.
that didn't even get that far.
Okay. So as you might be able to tell, Jason has a penchant for a Toyota Crown of what's the model name?
So this one's an MS75, this one's an MS63, and it's a 1972 model and a 1974 model.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And there is a just in case you're wondering, that is a coupe. There's the estate or wagon, and just around the corner there is a sedan or saloon. So Jace, tell us about them. Which one's first? What did you have to do? What state was it in?
All right, so the coupe, I got off my father when I was 21. He bought it when I was a teenager. And hilariously, when he bought it, I thought it was the most uncool car you've ever seen. Right. So really? Shit.
Really?
But yeah, anyway, he gave it to me when I was 21 with a blown motor and all the rest.
And what did you want at that point rather than a...
Oh no, I liked it by that point.
Oh, right,
but when I was a 15-year-old, I thought it was, an old piece of shit.
Right.
But yeah, so when I was 21, I put it back on the road, put another engine in it, hooned around with it for a bit, blew the motor, sat for another 10 years.
Yeah.
Then I restored it probably 12 years ago.
Pillarless. Yeah, pillarless.
So yeah, restored it 12 years ago, but then blew the motor again last year, so it's been sitting ever since. Yeah. But she'll go soon. I got good plans for it. I'm going to
Look at that detailing in there. Only the Japanese at this point were doing this sort of stuff, aren't they? Well, at any point.
Absolutely. So look, this is super rare in Australia. I know of about...
Was it sold here?
No, it was never sold here.
Okay.
There's probably about 20 in the country. And not many of those are on the road. This one came over from Papua New Guinea, brand new, with a sister car that's one serial number apart. I knew of it 20 years ago, but it's disappeared now, so no idea.
And how did your dad come into? Did he have
the good
was the design of it back in when he got it? Or?
No, he really liked them. He was going to buy a sedan, and then the coupe just popped up in the trading post. So and he was wrapped because they were unobtainium. So.
So how long did he have it on the road before that?
Only about 5 years.
Yeah.
Then it was handed over to me.
Yeah. This design. I mean, obviously they were taking a lot of influence from America at the time and whatever, the Japanese and what have you. We can obviously see a lot of Mustang in there, but then they take it that bit further, don't they? This.
It's pretty wild, the design. Yeah, it's yeah, they were pretty. Yeah, they were pretty groundbreaking in the day. Not very well received in Australia. They didn't sell that well, which is a shame because they're a great car, like full chassis car, a good 6-cylinder motor, disc brakes factory. You know, the HQ of the time, as you know, was that was an option, or know, the drums all around. They were just well ahead of their time, but yeah, just not that well received. Stuff like the integrated bumpers freaked everyone out. You know, it was the chrome bumper era, and there was.
And was it the looks that they weren't particularly enjoyed? Was it the do they stand up to a corrugated road or?
Oh, they're tough as nails. As I said, they're a full chassis car, so they're really they handle well for a luxury saloon. Yeah. Obviously, they're no sports car, but I've done a fair few suspension mods to stiffen them up and just get them handling right.
Yeah. She's a beaut, mate.
She is a beaut, but she's looking a bit sad right now. But it'll live again.
See through a bit of dust and whatever.
Yeah, no, I've got a 7M motor sitting down in the workshop, which is much later out of your Cressidas in the 90s. Yeah. And I'm going to piss off all the fuel injection and put triple Webbers on it, so sort of retro. Yeah, detune it in a way. It's probably better off having the fuel injection, but I just love the idea because it's a 3-litre twin cam 24 valve motor. Right. Then with triple Webbers, it's going to be nice. So so that's first cab off the rank next year. Right.
And this decal, is that true to the form?
No, that's me being silly. Yeah. I fitted for a minute there Krager mags in the same colour as those stripes, and it was fun for about 20 minutes, but it was pretty leery, so so we took them off.
Oh yeah, so I see the hello mate. So even the lights at the back, they're Mustang influence. So we've only got 2, but
was this I had these ridiculous wheels on it for a while.
Is that an Aussie brand?
No, that's American. But they're multi-fit wheels, and I'm not a big fan of multi-fits, so they had to go.
And then came the wagon.
Yeah, so the wagon I bought off a Toyota fanatic, more of a Celica guy, Rodney Try, up in Sydney. So long ago now, would have been 20 years ago. It was a complete wreck, rusted out, all the roof was gone, lots of rust around the windows and all the rest, and sat for many years waiting, and then I built it maybe 7 years ago. Total resto. Built it very much to the style that I wanted. I was imagining, a car coming out of the showroom in the 70s and then going straight to the local custom shop. What they'd do, they'd stick a vinyl roof on it, and they'd, put some period mags and a few other things. And here we are. Yeah. The stripes are my design as well.
I was going to say the stripes and the crown decal at the back as well.
That's it. That's all me.
Awesome.
But this one's even rarer than the coupe. It's the only one registered in Australia. I know of a few others.
Really?
Yeah, it's the only one registered in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah. These were never sold here, and not really. There was only a few imported. Awesome. So there's a guy in South Australia who's got one waiting for resto. Another guy in Queensland who's got one as rough as guts, but he's really keen to get started on his. He just acquired it. Yeah. And that's it. That's the only ones I know of in the country. Wow. So.
And how do you get to know about this, through forums or whatever? Because you haven't got.
Yeah, that's right. It's so I came across this because I knew Rodney through because he had a coupe as well. It's on stage, and and he put this. I knew he had this, and he put it up for sale. So I snapped it up basically. Shipped it down from Sydney and stuck it in a shed for a long time before I built it. Yeah. It was originally baby blue.
Right. Okay, and what made you go for this colour?
I didn't want a baby blue car.
You got one, bluish.
That's it. Yeah. This is a crown colour, but an earlier model, so from a 60s, late 60s model.
Yeah. Sorry, what year did you say this one is?
This is 74.
74, right, okay.
So one of my favourite bits in the wagon is I've never come across a gear knob so pristine as it is in this car. It's a cracker. Look at that paisley print around the outside of that. 4 on the floor.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the back end changes for the for the estate, for the wagons, or was that over time?
Yeah, no. So there's actually two. So this is the Coupes are Series 1, so 72, and then they did a facelift in 73, 74 for the Series 2. So they actually put the chrome bumpers on the car. So if you have a look at the front of this one, it's got a chrome bumper because obviously of that safety issue of the integrated bumpers. So they actually, went backwards, put the chrome bumper on. And changed a few of the style lines. You've lost your indicators up the top and got the grille now. Side lights, a few other.
And these, sorry, where did this come from, this car?
I don't know. It would have been a private import, probably from Japan. Okay. I've got no idea.
So from Japan,
yeah.
But you've added the fender lights, so the fender mirrors. They're
JDM crown fender mirrors that I put on because this was
the hard find for them.
So I'm finding Facebook Thailand.
Oh right.
Like there's heaps of crown parts in Thailand. So there's a couple of sellers on Facebook, and I've been getting some amazing parts that I've been stashing away. New old stock badges. I even got a dashboard. The mirrors, all sorts of stuff.
Awesome stuff.
But I've been into silly crowns for so long, it's kind of, I've got quite a stockpile of bits and pieces for it. And this thing's a 7-seater as well. It's got a hilarious sticky seat.
Jump back seat. Oh, beautiful. Oh, my daughter would love this. She's dying for me to get my W123 back on the road so she can sit in the back of that. Not that. Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. So nice. Foot space as well.
Yeah, nice rear-facing seat.
Totally illegal to let kids sit in their back nowadays.
No seat belts, nothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a comfy old number. Yeah. Did you have to do much interior, like the trimming and whatever?
Yeah, it's been kind of refurbished, if you like. So sort of patching in new bits. Yeah, the whole car was pretty trashed. Right. But I've tried to keep as much of the original stuff as I can. Yeah.
So. Right, okay, so you're obviously dab hands, well, I know you're dab hand with your hands because you're an artist, sculptor.
Correct.
Sculpturalist?
Sculptor.
Sculptor, yeah. So tell us a bit about that. Your background is in...
Yeah, my background's in sculpture. So I just like to have a crack at anything, but within my sculpture career, I've done a bunch of artworks with cars as well. Like there's quite a well-known HQ Kingswood I did that looks like it's climbing up onto a plinth. I've done a Citroen and a Golf, a Mark I Golf, and a whole heap of other stuff as well.
And also, you've got land. Well, I've got to show people your property here.
I'm on 10 acres here. And we sort of, my son has a paddock bomb and we like to hoon around the paddocks a bit. Though it's pretty steep property, so it gets a bit hairy sometimes. But during COVID, I picked up this dune buggy out of a paddock and rebuilt it. It's a Beetle floor pan that's been chopped with a combi rear end and then a Type 3 1600 twin carby motor in it.
Right, okay.
Front brakes only, of course. But unfortunately, after building it for, 3 weeks solid, on its first drive, 45 minutes in, I blew the gearbox and it's sat here ever since. Like so many things, my list is long of stuff to do and there's not enough time in the day. But it went like stink for the 45 minutes that I drove it. It was terrifying with only the front brakes and the 1600 motor. No, I think I just need to move it on to someone who's actually got the time to have fun with it again.
That'd be God, I imagine on this land it'd be flipping.
It was
scary as shit.
But I grew up with a Honda Odyssey, the little dune buggy that Honda brought out in the 80s. That's how I learnt to drive. Right. From the age of about 8, I was screaming around this place.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, a Magna.
So that's my son's paddock bomb. He bought it from the local greengrocer for $400.
Right.
He hasn't driven it for a while. He's lost interest in it, which is a bit annoying. But it'll come back, I suppose.
Yeah. You see these in quite some sorry states driving around.
Well, this is one of them. Yeah. But this has done some horrific things in the paddock here.
Yeah. Right, and to complete the set, we've got the estate and the And the coupe and
the sedans, yeah.
So what era is this?
So the sedans were sold in Australia, as your viewers would know. They were the only, in this model, there was only sedans sold. In the earlier model, you could get utes and stuff, but yeah, in Australia, and they were AMI built.
Sorry, ute.
There was a ute, yeah, but not in this model.
Right,
so that was the model before. Yeah. So these were Australian built as well. So they were built by AMI.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Sydney,
they were knockdown cars. So yeah. So I've got a few sedans. It's a shame. Like back in the day, I was buying like amazing one-owner ones, you know, and wrecking them for the parts. Whereas now they're so rare. I'm holding on to shit like this, where you know, 15 years ago I would have been just.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's got bullet holes in the back, so you can't resist that.
Oh. Cool.
I have fantasies to get this back on the road as a rat and leave the bullet holes.
Leave them in there, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Toyo Glide.
Yeah. So this is the Series 1.
Yeah.
It's got really cool tail lights. These rings here light up as the tail, and then the brake lights there. Cool. So Japanese, over the top. Yeah. Where were they?
I mean, obviously it was basic motoring up until when they got going and whatever, and then they just sort of went in overdrive with this.
Well, these were
detailing.
Yeah, these were flash in their day. Like they were expensive too. Like they weren't a cheap car. They were because they were the flagship model. They were as good as you could buy, the luxury sedan.
Yeah.
And they were, as I said, they outclassed all the Australian cars of the day.
Absolutely. I mean, technically, you say there's discs and.
Well, they had, alloy head motor, disc brakes, aircon, central locking, lots of stuff that sounds really basic now. But I love my coupe has a automatic tuning AM radio with a foot controller, so it's got a button on the floor and you press it, and it's got a little motor in the radio, and the dial goes until it hits a channel, and it's great. Mate.
Awesome.
They're not original, those seats.
Oh right.
So.
I was going to say, that just reminds me of what's underneath a bit of lace in a Japanese taxi.
Yeah. No.
And I think this is up against like from Britain it would be up against a Kimberley or something like that. God, yeah. All right, now out in a paddock, I believe.
Yeah, sure, go. Let's do it.
The great Aussie Dyke.
You want to see my spare parts caravan?
Well,
it's pretty funny in there.
You don't want to be telling all the viewers. Nobody's going to know where we are they?
But full of crown shit.
Oh yeah.
Around the back there's all crates of all sorts of rare bits that I've imported, tail lights and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Very well stored in my
I was going to say, this
caravan.
It's a bit of a piece in by itself, isn't it?
It's Carapark, yeah.
Carapark, huh? Yeah. Is that a well-known Aussie old brand?
They're an Aussie brand, yeah. This one was a sight van. But,
shape-wise, it's not... Is that a tourer? Good. They would, or is it done for...
they were both, yeah. So they were sight vans and tourers, and
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't know whether you're into my bus as well.
Oh,
there's a bus that people stay in, fully kitted out. Nice. It's a 60s.
Well, you Airbnb in it, or
just friend B&B.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But no, it's a 60s Comair. It's pretty cool, round back.
Dad coming in?
Oh, you can leave it. Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Dead sculpture. So that's a 69 Crown that I got T-boned by a rental van in, so I decided to make a little Crown Cube instead.
Yeah. Yeah, we've come to see that there is a one or two.
There's the Citroen over.
I was going to say the GSA, huh?
Yeah. No, that's a CX.
CS. Yeah. A CX?
Yep.
All right. Is he? Yeah.
I made that as a sculpture, nearly 20 years ago now. Slowly rotting. You've got to imagine it all perfect and pristine, you know. There's a ghost of a... Yeah.
Do you remember the BMC Pininfarina concept car that became? Essentially, I think
with the...
Pinin took it.
Yeah.
Pinin took it to Citroën because BMC couldn't see. I think that was actually, that had an Austin Maxi or 1800.
Did it?
Stuff underneath, and nobody could figure out how they got from a great big high bonnet on that to be able to work it underneath the design of what became the Pininfarina BMC that became that.
The old GS is my...
I was going to say, you got a GS,
Yeah, that was my father's car. I grew up in that car.
Right.
And he sold it many years ago.
Yeah.
And I found it in a paddock and it was about to go to scrap. So it's too far gone to ever get going, but I sort of sentimentality, I had to drag it home.
Yeah.
You know?
Is anything too far gone nowadays?
Yeah, well, that's true. What's cool about this car is my father did the impossible task of putting wide wheels on it.
Oh, right.
So he flared all the guards out and made custom rims for it. So it actually didn't have those skinny Citroën cookie cutter tyres anymore on it.
So what year is this?
This would be 72, isn't it?
72, I think, or 71. Oh, Jace, that's those arches.
Yeah,
that's worth saving.
Graveyard.
Yes.
So the Honda's my son's last paddock bomb.
Right.
Which it's not quite dead, but it's nearly dead.
Right. Yeah, but that's now, Jace, that's now worth saving. Those things.
Yeah, I've been meaning to put it on Marketplace and just for someone for spare parts, but you know, time in the day. I kind of forget about it when it sits over here.
Sit over in the back paddock, yeah.
And then Series 2.
Yeah.
MS65.
Yeah.
This car here should never have been wrecked. It was a one owner, like no rust, in really good condition. It's actually what I got that gear knob out of.
Oh right, yeah.
But it pretty much built the wagon. So all the front clip and the doors and everything all went on the wagon. Yeah. So
Wow. Cool.
And then there's a late model crown there, and then a Series 1 over there. Yeah.
Right. In that great Aussie Pooh Brown.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Jay says motor out of this. Can this go in one of the older ones?
Well, I mean, it's been sitting a long time, but it's only done 100,000 Ks, this car. It doesn't look it now. But it's a 2.8 litre fuel injected motor. I've sort of, a fantasy that'll probably never happen, but you can take this motor, whip out the crank and put the 7M crank into it. Which strokes it to 3 litres, and then put the earlier 4M head on it, which brings the compression up, and then so you've got a period correct motor that's stroked to 3 litres, and then you can put carbies or something like that on it, and so it's still sitting there. You never know.
And is that a big performance upgrade over the older?
Look, the M motors. You can never really say M motor and performance in the same sentence. They were never a pokey motor. They're just a good kind of, old school.
Yeah, lazy torque.
Yeah, a lazy torquey motor, but performance and M motor, No. I know lots of people who've done crazy builds to M motors and they've only got up to about 180 horsepower, it's at the rear wheels. Yeah. So you'll never get big performance out of them, but they're a good strong motor. I like them.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So instead of doing as that says...
So my partner and I are doing the Shitbox Rally in a week's time, driving up to Port Douglas, and then from Port Douglas driving to Adelaide, but via the Birdsville Track. Instead of doing it in the perfectly kitted out Land Cruiser or the late model Hilux with the rooftop tent and canopy and fridge in the back and everything else, we're doing it in a 1990 Ford Capri.
Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss Jason's rundown on the Shitbox Capri's gestation. And if you'd like to contribute to the cause, make sure you head over to this video's description where you can find a link at the end to take you to the Team Artie Box's Shitbox Rally donation page.